So I was thinking about it. Remember when we used to watch The Amazing Race?
Yeah.
And we talk about like, could we go on The Amazing Race? Like, would we be good at it? And I realized after this trip away
we
that
couldn't.
there's 3 really distinct reasons why we would not be good at the Amazing Race.
Great.
You ready for them?
Let's hear them.
Alright, so reason number 1 why we would not be good at the Amazing Race is right off the bat, we would pick the wrong vehicle. It's just a given. We would pick the wrong vehicle.
Oh, would we now?
We'd be on the side of the road.
Okay, what's the other one?
Well, let's talk a little bit more about the vehicle one.
I thought you were going to say we would fight all the time.
Oh, we'll get to that. So, vehicles. So, we shared 2 weeks ago that we had some problems with the Excursion on the way down on our vacation. We left it at a shop for 2 days. They fixed the EGR cooler and some other things on it.
Yeah, they just removed it. Yep.
And so then we kept going further south, and everything was going well, actually, right?
Yeah, everything was going really well. I did a U-joint and a couple bushings and stuff in parking lots, which is, I mean, it's Florida. Like, you can lay on the ground and work on our vehicle perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So that wasn't a big deal, but we were headed from one campground to another on the east side of Florida, South Florida, and middle lane freeway, and the Excursion just shut off. Like, the motor just died. I re-cranked it, it fired right back up, and then like ran on half the cylinders and died again. And so I hit my hazards and got over to the shoulder. Dawn's dad was behind us.
Well, that's the lucky thing. Luckily, this time, because we broke down on last year, but mom and dad weren't behind us then. Nope. So luckily my parents were right behind us. But I don't think you can bring your parents with you on the Amazing Race when you go. If we're like, my mom needs to come with and my dad. Like.
So what you're saying, we need to form a team?
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
Anyway, so yeah, luckily they were right behind us.
And so Dawn's dad, we hooked a tow strap from his truck to the Excursion. He pulled the Excursion and the camper off the freeway onto a side road that was like really nice and flat. He scoped it out, he ran ahead, scoped it out, and then we switched out the Excursion for his truck, and then we had the Excursion loaded up on a flatbed that showed up. He was probably there about the time we got everything switched over. Yeah,
luckily he came quickly, so we weren't on the side of the road that long, and we made some phone calls. You found a shop in the area. It was like 13 miles away.
Yeah, it wasn't far. A shop in the area that had done work, or like at least their website said they did some work on Power Strokes. I called the guy. He's like, yeah, doesn't sound good. Said bring it here and we'll look at it. I can diagnose it right away. I'm like, okay, cool.
And this was on a Friday again, or it happened Thursday, but he said he could look at it Friday.
Yeah, Thursday night this happened, so he could look at it right away Friday.
But he didn't actually get back to us on Friday. So meanwhile, we had found a campground in the area, got the camper set up and everything. So we were fine. My parents were at a hotel nearby, so that wasn't a huge deal. And then Friday morning he called, and what did he say was wrong with it?
He's like, oh yeah, your motor's shot. I didn't agree with it right out of the gate. I'm like, I don't believe that that's accurate. But this guy, like I said, so what did you do? Because I'm mechanically inclined. I'm like, okay. So tell me how you got there. Like, what were your steps? He says all he did was plug the scan tool in by the codes that he got through the scan tool. He's like, something internal broke, you need a new engine.
So then you called the mechanic that we'd used here in Minnesota. He said, hey, like, can I just run these symptoms by you? This isn't
that's true.
Computing. And then he had also found a guy, well, somewhat locally in Florida, that's all he did was specialized in these type of motors too. Ran it by him and he was like, nah. Everybody
was like, there's no way your motor's shot. And I'm like, that's what I wanted to hear because that's what my gut said. And so anyway, we started getting prices around what it would cost to just ship the Excursion home. A lot.
Yeah, that didn't really seem practical.
Like a lot.
And then you had been talking with this guy that you found that was 2 hours away from where we were.
Yep.
And he was like, well, if you can get it to me, I could look at it right away.
So he was on the west side of Florida. We ended up arranging a tow truck.
And so luckily my parents had said like, hey, don't worry about it. You can take the truck back. We'll figure out our own way to get home. So that all worked out. I mean, that couldn't have worked out any better. I mean, we were really fortunate about that. Otherwise we would have been stuck down there for a lot longer. So at least that was all taken care of. So where things are at now, the Excursion is with this guy on the other side of Florida. So his initial thoughts were that no, the engine's not bad. Yeah. So we're just waiting to hear back exactly what it is. And then Tom will fly back down to Florida and drive it back. So
yay.
Yay. I mean, not ideal because we're putting more money into it, but at least we were able to get back home and that all worked out okay. Our return trip went very smoothly.
Right.
But before we could leave the state, there's another reason I don't think we'd do well on the Amazing Race, and that is because Tom is actually afraid of heights. And so we saw...
I can't believe you just told them that.
We're driving and all of a sudden I hear Tom go, "You gotta be kidding me." And I'm like, what? And I look and we can see this like really tall bridge in the distance and he's like, I know we have to go over that.
And Dawn's like, "No, we can find another way around." And I'm like, "It's too late. There's nowhere to turn off on."
And so, yeah, I mean, so we can see this huge bridge in the different distance. We're getting closer and Tom's just like, I'm going in the center lane. I don't even care if it's the fast lane.
I'm taking the whole stinking road. I'm running down the middle of this road.
So we're getting towards it and he's like just eyes dead center, like no enjoying the view or looking around.
Right, but what Dawn does not understand is it's not a fear of heights. It's a fear of, I have a 33-foot sail behind me that takes the wind, and I have a vehicle packed with kids.
Yeah.
And if I look to the side, like when you naturally are driving and you look to the side, your wheel turns a little bit. I would have enjoyed to have looked off and seen the view. But with that big old camper up on a really narrow, tall bridge, and other vehicles around you, that's what makes it not fun.
So we made it over and tried to avoid all tall bridges.
I think we ended up having to do one of those twice.
We did. So Tom just looked at his GPS and where is it taking us?
Over the stupid bridge again.
Did you? I felt like when we were on it, it didn't feel as tall as it looked from a distance.
Oh, I stared at the road the whole time. I was not looking away from the road.
Yeah, and you did great. So.
Because I stared at the road the whole time.
It's like we tell the kids, the first time is always the scariest because you're learning what to expect, but the second time you know.
I don't know. With this monster box behind me, nah.
Yeah.
If it was just the Excursion, it's totally different.
Yeah.
But with this thing that kind of like moves you around a little bit anyway, yeah, no.
You did bring up the fact that we would probably fight the whole way on the Amazing Race, and it was funny because...
Because I'm right and you think you're right.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. What Dawn meant to say was that I'm wrong, but think I'm right.
I think because when we're making decisions on like remodeling and stuff like that, you don't have to make quick decisions, right? We can each have our own points of views and like let it simmer for a little while and kind of go back and forth. But when you're on the Amazing Race, you have to like make decisions quickly, and I think we both would be on completely different like sides of the fence every single time.
Oh, see, I thought you were going to say that you didn't think I could make a quick decision.
Oh,
I make a lot of quick decisions.
You can make all impulse decisions with the best of them. That would not be the concern. But I saw this article, it was like the 11 cast members you'll always see on the Amazing Race, and it was like the grandparents, the like unlikely people so they have something to overcome. Gosh, it was so funny. I'll put a few of them here. But then there was
11, you thought of 2.
Then I know the cute girls. Like there's always the cute girls. Then there was the Bickering couple, the couple that comes on for like marriage counseling because they're like, we need to do something to, like for our relationship, and then they just like fight the whole way through the race.
Wait, like, you think that would be us?
That would totally be us. We wouldn't go into it thinking we were the Bickering couple. We'd be like, this is gonna be awesome. We're gonna do this. We're gonna be so good, and then we would.
See, I want to disagree with what you're saying right now, but that just emphasizes what you just said.
Do you not think that's what we would be?
Stop this video right now. We're done.
So all that to say, we will not be.
We would win though. We would so win. No, you don't think so?
No, we would.
Not with that attitude, we're not winning.
We would be disqualified like the second round, and then.
How would we? Whatever.
After after the grandparents. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. We'll keep talking about it. We'll keep you posted if we're gonna apply for the Amazing Race. It is still in production. They had to put it on hold this year with everything going on, but we could still apply for it. So we'll keep you posted if we decide to do that.
I think we need to start watching that again.
It was kind of stressful to watch. I don't know if I would want to watch it again.
Oh, you don't want to watch it, but you want to do it?
No, I don't want to do it. That's what I'm saying. I think it would be a horrible idea.
There was a period of time when you were sold out to us going.
Yeah, no, I thought it would be super fun, and now I'm pulling that back. I don't think so.
I am really interested in to see what the title of this video is going to be.
Well, I don't know yet. And the third reason why we probably wouldn't be good on the Amazing Race is that Tom has high standards where it comes to where we sleep at night. So you would not be sleeping on park benches or entrance gates.
No. See, all of this changes if you remove children.
Yeah, so I learned...
Yeah, she doesn't believe that for a second.
I learned that Tom has high standards when it comes to the type of campgrounds that we stayed at. Like for us growing up...
Well, apparently we're not camping anymore.
You all probably know this too if you camped growing up. Like if you stayed at a KOA, that was a big deal. We would stay at a KOA like 1 or 2 nights out of a whole trip because they usually had a pool and they were a nicer campground, had more stuff at it. But the rest of the time we were staying at like the cheapest of the cheapest. Tom's preference would be that we stay at the resort style ones most of the time.
So, is this video titling what I don't like about my husband?
No, it's just we learned things about each other on the trip, I feel like.
Huh.
And I didn't know you would be so picky.
All right, well, next Friday video is going to be what Tom thinks Dawn thinks about me.
Yeah. So, another reason is probably that you can't use GPS when you're on the Amazing Race. So how did we end up downtown Louisville, Tom?
I think when I did it on my GPS, I think I may have checked the no tolls box.
But we had to go over a cool looking bridge, it looks like. As long as you're in the right lane.
Oh, I'll just force my way over.
Yeah.
Sorry, big old fat camper coming over. I'm totally taking both lanes here. It's a cool bridge though. I am in the middle of 2 lanes, yes. Dude, look at that, Don, look at these bridges on both sides. Both sides.
There's bridges over here. And there's more bridges over there. And there's tons of water. I do think though what would go well for us on the Amazing Race is that we do like to travel and we like seeing new places. And so we had and
we don't give up.
yeah, we went through the Savannah area in Georgia on our way back, and we decided to do the trolley ride, which that was really fun. Mm-hmm. We just opted for the like 1 hour and a half one that just goes. It wasn't, we didn't do the where you can like get on and off, but we just did the 1 hour, and that was a lot of fun. At
first I was like, oh really, a trolley ride? But no, it was actually super cool what we saw. And then the other thing is like the roads are super narrow because they're old streets, they're old cobblestone roads. So they're super narrow. I was amazed where this lady stuck that trolley and didn't hit things. Yeah. And then we went to drive down back there to take some pictures by a couple of the squares. And I mean, it was you don't trust your GPS when you're surrounded by one-ways.
Yeah, that's a little rough. But yeah, it was really cool. That was fun. That was one of the highlights, I think, of the trip. All right. Well, needless to say, we did make it back.
Okay, so we stopped early last night, like early by like 8:30 because it was pouring rain through the mountains. Do you think that we can do like another almost 14 hours today to get home?
Well, yeah, I think I can sit on my butt for another 14 hours. Can you do another 14 hours today? We left at 6:30 a.m.
Yes, and the thing that'll help is we're going through a time zone west, so we'll get an hour. We're gonna get an hour back.
Yeah.
So it's probably only gonna feel like 13 hours instead of 14 hours.
Yeah.
Totally different.
But don't you always feel the last 4 hours is very familiar territory? Will be in Iowa and then into Minnesota.
Oh yeah, no, we've driven all that stuff a million times.
Well, and we were kind of glad we stopped last night then, because we got an alert then.
Yeah, that there was major flooding. They were shutting down all the highways because, so we were just outside of the Smoky Mountains, and it's still very mountainy, but they were getting mudslides and roads getting washed off and flooded, and so they just like made a big alert. Everybody get off the roads.
Yeah. So
and we were already off, so
yeah,
that was good.
Driving in the rain isn't fun. Right?
No, and a lot of road construction too through the mountains and stuff with a camper. Not super fun. And
the camper itself was great, right? Like the camper worked well. We didn't have any issues with the slide while we were gone. It functioned well. It was plenty big enough. I actually winterized it before we left our last campground, like so she won't freeze. Good. That's yes. Cool. I mean, we felt like we were like a really small camper at all these campgrounds.
Oh, no. We were small and old camper. Yeah. That's what I was amazed by. Like, because I think this is a pretty pimp camper. Yeah. But no, like, this is a teeny tiny old camper compared to some of the Taj Mahals we saw. Yeah. So that was interesting. I feel like when we camp up here in Minnesota, I feel like we're kind of middle of the road. I think we blend in, yeah. Which is good. We're not like trying to be some big flashy. Yeah, no, which is totally fine. So it was interesting. I was like, wow, there's some nice campers out there. I was just working on unpacking, but I want to show you a book that I read that was so good. Do you do this where you like bring a bunch of books on vacation thinking you're gonna get them all read? I read 2.5, so I was pretty happy with that. This book, Breathing Through Foster Care, if you're at all interested in foster care, it was so good. It was, I couldn't put it down. We were like driving and having problems with the excursion, and Tom's like, aren't you worried about this? And I'm like, I'm just trying to like keep my mind elsewhere. So this was really good. I read the latest like Nicholas Sparks, which I know some of you are like, that is so mushy. I'm like, those are like my perfect vacation books, right? Like just not have to think about anything. And then I also started reading Essentialism, which is meaty, but I'll be excited to share more about that coming up in the next couple weeks, because it's awesome. But yeah, there's a lot to it, so that was good. It was also fun. There were some questions about what we do for homeschooling while we were traveling, and it was really fun. We made sure we took like 1 full week off of it, but then we made sure we were doing reading and math throughout the time we were gone. But then otherwise we were just like digging into the things we were coming across, like alligators. We definitely had to spend more time learning about alligators and spaceships and other nature things that we were encountering. So that was really fun, and I think it was kind of a good break for all of us. We didn't get to do as much of like the historic stuff and nature stuff that I wanted to. Having problems with the excursion definitely cut into some of that time, but it is what it is, right? What can you do? And the kids had a great time. They were all ready to get back home, which I was kind of surprised. Like, we got home and they were like, we're gonna go outside and play in the snow. And I was like, really? Dawn and I were depressed. Yeah. The entire first day of being home, because we want to go back down south. It's warm out. It's cold here. You get used to just being able to walk outside without putting all your layers on. So I think the kids were happy because instead of being in a 250 square foot camper, they're in a 1,700 square foot house. Yeah, our house feels gigantic right now. So yeah, so it was good. I was glad they had a good time, and it is good to be home. It's actually very warm here in Minnesota right now. It's like 40 degrees, so we should not be complaining, but pretty soon we are gonna have to start turning our attention to some of our spring projects here, and okay, I won't bring those up now. So those cause me a great deal of anxiety. To do, yeah. But we hope that you have a really great weekend. We hope your projects go smoothly, and we will see you again soon. Bye-bye.